everyone. A good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening to everyone. My name, as always, Jane Somali here, and as you have seen the headline of this video, this is basically what I'm going to base on. But before I head there, I want to give a tip to everyone, because I feel this applies to everyone. It doesn't matter what you are, in what situation you are, you basically need this. Everyone needs this advice that I'm gonna give. So I want to advise everyone to be very careful, very cautious. And I'm saying this because of what I have gone through myself personally, and how it has impacted me. The tip is you need to be very careful, very, very careful with family people, and you actually need to be very, very, very cautious to the people that are so close to you. Because before anyone would harm you, they will start with the person that actually, only the person that knows you is the person who will basically harm you. There's no one who will come from afar and he will harm you. Only the person who is so close to you. This is the person who can actually, harm you. And the harm will be so deep, it will go to the bone. Why am I bringing this? I am bringing this because I have gone through it, first thing, and people who have followed me from the time I started actually coming out to say my story, you can tell where it has led me. It's not a good place. It's a very harsh place. It's a very disturbing place, and I would not really wish it for anyone to be in. So you need to be very, very careful, very extremely careful with family people. It doesn't matter who they are. It could be your sister, it could be your brother, it could be your uncle, it could be your cousin, and people that are very, very close to you. Very close, I mean, like people who know your secrets, people you share most of the private things that you rather keep it to yourself, but you decide to share it to these people. You need to be very, very careful, because with all this being said, I happen to have my sister. This my sister. She's our last girl in a family of 6. So we 3 boys and 3 girls in the family, and she's the last sister and the third last. So she is this person. She's I will not say she's a talkative person. She's a very reserved person. She's a very quiet person. Growing up, I knew her as a very reserved and quiet person. I never had any moments where you could see her like fighting anyone or like talking too much. I am the talkative one, but she was very private, and she was a very quiet person. And growing up, I respected all of them. I loved all my sisters and brothers. I had so much love for them. But there was this time where I made up my mind to come back home. And this is what happened. I came home. So before I traveled, I happened to call this my sister. She's the only person that I actually reached out to. And I told her, I actually requested her to pick me from the airport. And I humbly requested her not to let anyone know about my coming back, because I had already suspected some things that were going on and no one was really ready to open up. So I requested her to not let anyone know about my coming back. So I did everything, packed my stuff, packed my bags, and off I left. So I reached the airport, everything went as planned. I landed safely, and I stayed actually in her house when I came, I think for like a week or couple of days before I traveled home. And guess what? I had to find out. So I went home, and I get to know that everyone knew actually about my coming, and everyone knew what was going on and all what I did actually before I traveled there. And this made me understand how people are very different. We know very, very little about people. Like for me, what I knew about her was totally different. I knew her as a quiet, reserved person. So I thought she would be like that even when I tell her my things and my story. Because even when I landed here, I shared some of the things that I was like cautious about, and I was like asking her, where did this go? Why was this? Why did this reach me? And all that stuff. But when I reached home, I got a surprise of my life. I happened to know that she had actually told everyone about what was going on in my life and what I knew. So when I went back home, I started seeing, like different faces. The people that I knew were totally different, were different from the people actually I used to know. That's why I derived a tip that was saying, don't think you know your brothers if you have any, or your sisters, 100%. They might look like, it might look like you know them, but believe me, it's not the case. When we actually go away from people, they change a lot. They really change a lot. And as the Bible says, never trust a human being. A human being is not a person to trust. Today they're like this, and the next day, before you know it, they already changed people. And this applies to everyone. It applies to everyone. It doesn't matter. Sister, your mom, your father, your brothers, this applies to everyone. And I want to tell you that people change over the times. People really become different people. You might not know it, especially it's so complicated for people who actually live abroad and you just get to communicate over the phones. It's really so hard for you to basically understand that these people have changed. But for me, when I was, this is the trick that I used. But you see, even when I use my trick, I never got to know that all these things happen, So I used to often call my family. I would talk to them, ask them what is going on, asking the kids. And I could hear from the tone, I could hear the one time when I talked to my sister, I could hear her tone when she was talking. I knew something was not okay because she was so aggressive. She was rebellious. And this is not now the sister I'm talking about now. I'm talking about Dora. She really became aggressive, and I never knew her as someone who has been aggressive, but she was so much defensive, so aggressive. And it was, saying a lot to me. But I could not prove it 100%. I wanted to come back and talk to her and get to know whether she's exactly that what I saw. But when I came here, there was no difference. She was the same person. She was very defensive, very aggressive, and it was exactly what I saw when I talked to her. Going to my sister Dina. Dina is the last girl, and like I said already, she was a very private, quiet girl growing up. She did something that I would not believe any sister that loves you, believes in you, would do something like this. But she did something, and I was left speechless. So she there was this event that was going on, and we were like so close. Like I said, we were so close, you know, sharing so much. I would she would send her kids to come stay over with my kids, and I would send my kids to go with her. But this time around, I sent my kids, my daughter and my son, because there was an event that she informed me about. And she said, Jen, there's an event that is going to happen. It's basically for kids. If you don't mind, you can bring over the kids, and these my kids will have a nice time with them. We have grown up like that, you know, taking kids to stay with my sister, and their kids coming over. So things like this. The kids had a very nice relationship. So I happened to send the kids. It was a one-day event. They went there at around 7 o'clock, and by 6 the event was done. But because the event ended in the evening and they wanted to stay at her place, they called me and actually asked me whether it's fine for me to let her have my kids. Now, this is what I was talking about. So I'm talking about, you know, having a good time, private person. She can never share your stuff. You know, she's good and all that. She took the kids, and it was totally a different story. So when she got to take the kids spent there like 4 days. And when they spent 4 days, there was one time after those 4 days, she came back. There was no message to me whatsoever. There was no any information to me from her that she was actually gonna travel to my family, which are my parents. And she left at around, I think, 10 o'clock. It was 10 o'clock because when I asked the kids after I got them, the kids told me that they left at around 10 or 10:30. Imagine where she was going. It is a long distance. It's at least 3 to 4 hours the time she left to reach there. But she managed to get the kids. They told me that they were even in sleep. She just got them out of sleep, and she drove the kids all the way to my parents. Something she never communicated to me about, and she never said anything about it. So when she took the kids, I never knew. But coincidentally, I was also, the next day I had to travel to go serve my dad, because I had a court document that I had to serve him because of issues I've shared here already before in my previous videos. I had to take him to court because of the money that he had to take without my consent or behind my back, and I tried to ask for it. I never got any good reception, and I had to take it to court. So I had gone there to serve him these documents from court. And I get to know that she had traveled with my kids. You know, how ruthless and how, you know, weird a world is, you know. A person that I knew that had a good heart, that was nice, you know, that could not do anything because she knew everything that was happening to me, you know, how my situation was, how I have been taking my life. She basically knew everything. She's the one sister I was sharing everything about my life. No, she's the one person I was left with after all this mess, that I was sharing my stuff, I was telling everything, and she just happened to, you know, throw me just like that. So she took the kids, and I got to know about it. So I was informed that she had gone with the kids. But then I was like, my heart started already pumping, because I knew, I know, like, I say it honestly, I don't have any trust for my parents. I don't have it anymore. And every time I say it, you know, they take it badly. They take it in a way that, you know, I'm like shaming them. Why do I have to do that? But come on, you know, who wouldn't feel so bad? I was hurt, you know, I'm just a human being like them. And I was hurt for what they did and what they had to make me go through. So, going back to the topic, I called her when I was on my way there. I was in a taxi on my way to my father's place. And I called her, I'm like, hey, where are you? She's like, I am back home. And then I asked, why did you have to, are you with the kids? She said, yes, I'm with the kids. And I was like, why didn't you inform me that you were taking my kids? Don't you think it's not normal for you to just take my kids on a long journey like that, and in the late hours of the night, and you just get my kids and you drive away with them? What if anything happens? And bear in mind, before she traveled with my kids, I had called her in the evening, early before she traveled, I think at 8 p.m. And I asked her whether she will give me a lift to where I was going. And she told me that she will not be able to give me a lift. Not knowing that she has a plan already to drive the kids, to the people that she knows are my enemies, because this is what I see in their faces. I look at them as my enemies. I don't really have trust in them for what they have done to me. So when I reached her, she was very confident.